leadership and parents. Just on the environment, which is an easier issue than violence. There's not violence against the environment, but it's easier for people to see the need, and that we're going to destroy the life support systems for humanity if we don't work on it.
Can we go here, here, and here? So here, here, and here. So 3 questions.
My name is John Miles, and in the mid-70s I helped to get the American Indian Movement United Support Group UK going, and in 1977 I came to live in Winnipeg, and I've got a strange feeling that I knew you in Winnipeg if you were there in the 70s, and you called yourself Wandering River. You just remind me of him. Well, first of all, or secondly, good luck tomorrow. Thirdly, Indian justice. I used to write to a lot of prison inmates when I lived in England. One Indian called himself Buffalo Boy Canoe, claimed to be a Cherokee. And he got 8 years for going into a shop, taking everything out, didn't break anything, just put it carefully outside as a protest, because there were Japanese imitations of Cherokee artifacts and such. And this is what happened to him, 8 years, and that's what we call Indian justice. And then we have the Mandela of North America, if you want to call him that. That's Leonard Peletier. He's still going to serve in prison until the year 2024, when everything was diabolically concocted to put that man in prison because the CIA wanted it. Yeah, it's so true.
We should kind of get
well,
to
okay.
question here.
Right. And as regards what you've said, sir, I agree almost totally with what you've said. I think that America has been diabolically wrong, evil, in what it's done to the world. It's been responsible for millions of deaths, and it's so wrong. The only question I have is the number of children that you said were killed, 450,000. I'm going to research that one. But my final word is to you, Splitting the Sky. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. I hope we don't see another example of Indian justice.
Thank you. Speaking of Indian justice, the verdict is tomorrow, and then there is in Canada a legal precedent or a legal ruling. Supreme Court of Canada, in a decision called Ledoux, laid out procedures for the sentencing of Native people. And there is an onus on the court to do extra duty to get at the background of the crime, try to understand its genesis, and seek alternatives to incarceration. So tomorrow, if the verdict is guilty, then there should be some kind of stop to the process, regrouping, and then we will get into a sentencing procedure according to this Gladue ruling, which I'm not even sure if this judge here is aware of that. In Toronto, they have a special court specifically for Native people. So I want people who are going to show up at the court to be aware of this. And we want this process to do the maximum to understand what was really behind this alleged crime that Splitting the Sky is supposed to have done. And the court tried to rush through it, and the Crown got 4 witnesses, and Splitting the Sky got no witnesses. It was kind of unseemly, just as Cynthia McKinney was coming down on the runway to give testimony, the court was being shut down, and she was one of the witnesses that Splitting the Sky asked for, and I was the other. So there was a push, not surprisingly, to keep out this larger issue of context. But through this Dalgamug, or this Gladue ruling, we should work to force the court to really do its homework, to live up to the rule of law. And it would be lamentable if it has to be after splitting the sky has been found guilty for trying to draw attention to the reality that law enforcement officials in Canada do not enforce the law when it comes to the highest level of crime. Madam, in the fifth row or so.
Right here.
Mr. Clark, I want you to comment a bit more on your view that there has to be, and in fact, I guess, another civil rights movement or women's movement that will begin to address these moral crises in the United States. And I'm not suggesting we don't have it in Canada as well, because I believe we do. I'm wondering if you would have seen the election of Barack Obama as at least some effort on the part of the people to address this moral crisis, because this was a man who promised to get the United States out of Afghanistan. He was going to close Guantanamo. He seems, you said as well, he seems not able to do any of these things. So can you sort of, what hope is there?
Well, I'm an optimist, so can't take me too seriously. But I think the election of an African American was a major breakthrough of great importance. You feel it, I travel all the time, you feel it in Africa, oh my God, they never believed that would happen. You used to see Kennedy's photographs in lots of places over there. The idea could never be that. And he has an experience that no American president has ever had. He knows third world poverty. He knows it in a way that it hurts. He's been in his grandmother's hut. He knows that there's a mud floor and a thatched roof. There's no running water. He lived for 6 years in an entirely Muslim community in the outskirts of Indonesia. From the time he was 6 to the time he was 12. He was in Indonesian schools. They didn't have a car, they didn't have flush toilets. All of his friends were speaking a language he couldn't speak when he got there. And his first book, which is a great book, he's written a better book than any American president has ever written, could have written, in my opinion. He says it was a wonderful time in my life. I can still feel the wet sod as we had run across the field and playing with each other. And he was in their homes. And you would see the mother put a bandage on his knee when he fell down, and he realized that these were Muslims. Watch them pray. You have to wait outside. They're all there praying. Come on, I want to pray. Now they got to pray. But what he's confronting is the real power of America. The president's power is extremely limited. I hate to say it, but staying alive is hard itself. I served throughout Kennedy's administration. I joined the government because of Kennedy. He looked awfully good to me as a young person. I remember when he was killed, I thought I'll never be happy again. Now I don't feel anything with age or whatever, so I'll never be happy again. But for all of his desires and all of his intelligence too, it's hard to find accomplishments. His one accomplishment was inspiration. He inspired a lot of people to carry on. We haven't seen the final act of Obama. You can see part of the problem is that virtually all the people he's had to bring in are people that he hadn't known and are not particularly loyal to him. The Secretary of State is a pure political accommodation with federal political agenda. So I worry about some of the things he said and done, though, that seem unnecessary.